because you obviously write for yourself all the time, and we love your songs, but you also have written for a lot of other artists. One of my friends, Olivia Rodrigo, I love the song you guys did together. And I'm curious because when you start writing for other people, there's this change where like when you're writing for yourself all the time, you can kind of, there's this like sense of like, this like conduit thing where you're like, I'm only gonna do it when like something is moving through me and telling me that this is like, I need to write this today. And if it's not happening that day, you can be like, I'm not gonna do it that day then, because it's your own artistry. And sometimes you feel like I have nothing, and then other times you feel like there was this like calling to me to do this, and I don't know where it's coming from, but I'm just gonna follow the road and do it. But when you're doing it for other people, like I don't have the luxury of following that all the time. I have to like, I'm Monday through Friday, regardless of if a spirit is calling to me or not. I have to be like, well, I'm the spirit today, I guess. I gotta figure this out.
Yeah.
So what has that felt like for you, where like obviously your stuff is so sacred and you can do it on your own time, and when you feel like you're being called to do it, and when you step in with somebody else, what has that felt like for you? Because I know that journey for me was like years of figuring that out.
Well, I think it's a combination because I will go in and work on things even when I just don't feel like anything.
Yeah.
You know, and where you're just like I don't even like myself today. I'm just doing this thing because this is what I do
most days.
Yeah, and yeah. That's for us therapy after. So you kind of do it anyways, and you're like you're not going through the motions, but you're putting in the hours, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I caught a spark because you don't get hit by a train if you're not on the train tracks or whatever that expression is. Like
we're just hoping to get hit by a train.
So you kind of do it. For myself, I will do it even when I don't feel like it, and it doesn't. I go through all that of like, I don't know if this is any good, but I'm still working on it, and I feel great about this, and then I come back to it, and I'm like, I don't think this is good, and then I feel nothing about something, and then I come back to it, I'm like, this is really good. So I don't know, there's all that. But with writing with other people, I really like it because I feel like I can just try to help them make whatever they're trying to say a little better.
And it alleviates you from being in like, this is St. Vincent territory. You can be like, oh, I anything is possible today.
Totally.
It's so fun.
But it's also, I feel like there have been a couple songs that I wrote for other people without myself in mind, and that end up being kind of better, that I have ended up cutting. Like there's a song called Slow Disco that I wrote for somebody else.
That's one of my favorite one of your songs.
Thank you. But I wrote that for somebody else. And I wasn't able to I would have critiqued myself or something, or not let it come out if it had just been for me. And then now it's like, that's another way to kind of do it, is to be like, oh, this isn't for me. Yeah. I'm just writing. It's just
I think finding the hacks to like alleviate the pressure of the blank canvas is like what it's all about. Yeah. Because we were talking about this just before we walked out here, where Annie was just working, and there wasn't an engineer and there wasn't a producer, and it was just Annie, and I'm like, that's 3 blank canvases. I'm like, it's so much to walk into a room and just be like, we could do anything today.
Yeah.
Like if it's a pitch day, so AKA, if you don't know what a pitch day is, it's like when there's no artist in the room. So a lot of times it would be like just me and a producer, or me and another writer.
Yeah.
And it's just like, sometimes that can be crippling because you're like, we don't have a North Star. We could do something R&B, we could do something country, we could do something, like what are we doing?
Yeah.
And when you're an artist and you're writing for yourself, 90% of the time, like to be able to push through the blank canvas every day is like a feat like none other, because it's hard. Anyway, sorry. That's my tangent on that.
You're right. But I also feel like I'm so curious about pitch days, and also like the idea of pitch songs, and how you, like, what were some of the early pitches that you did that you're like what's one that you're like, wow, that really kind of was the stepping stone to where I am today, and what's one that you're like, oh, let's hope that song never sees the light of day?
A lot of those.
Yeah.
A lot of those. But I will say, and like I was saying earlier, the music culture and industry has changed. It changes so quickly and so much all the time. And when I first got into writing for other people, pitch was like kind of the only way.
But how do you even do it if you if it's like, we don't know who this is for, but just write a song?
I mean, 8 years ago, that was like my bread and butter. The only reason why I got to sign a publishing deal was because I had one song that I started by myself at home, brought in to these production duo and my one friend who's a writer, and I was like, I just wrote this chorus last night. It might be bullshit, but like something about it. I wrote it last night and I didn't record it, and I remembered it this morning. So if that means anything,
that's a good sign.
I'm saying, let's see. Yeah. So we ended up writing the verses and tweaking, the chorus lyric and stuff, and then that was the first song. My manager Gabs, who I don't know where she is, but she's my saving grace, and like all of my anything that's ever happened has been because of Gabs. We weren't working together at the time, but we had met, and I sent the song to her, and she was like, "That sounds like a Selena Gomez song. I'm gonna just see what happens." But I had nothing to my name. My friend, who was the other writer, had nothing to his name, and the two producers, like none of us had ever had a cut before.
Dude, isn't that kind of unheard of?
Right now, it feels unheard of. Maybe back I don't know if it's changed, but it definitely felt unheard of. And I'll give credit for sure to Aaron Bashek, because he definitely got a song from 4 people that he was like, I don't know any of those people's names that are a part of the song, and he sent it to Selena, and she put it out, and it went like, it was my first like hit. It like did so well, and all of us were like, what the heck was going on? And then that catapulted me into moving to LA, and then the second pitch song that
So were you in Boston?
I was in New York.
You were in New York, okay.
My band and I moved to New York. We were gonna sign to a record label, and I had a come to Jesus moment where I was like listening to our songs in this meeting where they were trying to sign the band, and I was like, these are not good enough. So then I ended the band.
Good on you to know that that's
well, it's just like if you hear something of yours and you're like, if I don't believe in it, like who the hell is gonna believe in that if I don't even think that's great? So I had no choice. And then started writing, and I was there for like a year writing. And then this song was read at like the butt end of that year. And then I moved to LA, and then the second song, which I think we could play a little bit of, because I've actually never done this before, and I think it might be interesting.
I really want to hear it.
Because I actually haven't listened to this demo in a really long time. But the second pitch song is a song that really changed my life. And I was like, the first big thing, you're like, well, that could have been luck. And then the second one, I was like, I feel like a little bit more like I didn't make the wrong decision dropping out of nursing school. Like maybe this is the right. Well, that was I would have been a terrifyingly terrible nurse. A lot of lives would have been at risk. But I feel like the second one, I was like, okay, I love this, and I feel like I could like give this a go. So that is like the pitch game for me. Changed everything.
Is it crazy to ask to hear that?
No, I don't know how we do that, but
okay.
Gabs. Where's Gabs? I feel like you could plug your phone in and do this. That was quick as hell. Okay, this was the song that like really kind of changed everything.
Found you when your heart was broke. I filled your cup until it overflowed. Loved you till I made you whole.
Well, this is the demo. I just realized I was like, who's singing? And I was like, that's a bad demo that I'm singing.